Welcome to the latest dope episode of the HipPodHedz podcast. A podcast hosted by No Vac and No Sage, as they discuss their hip-hop inspired moments. Pull up a chair, grab a beverage, fill up your cup and get comfortable. This is episode number 49, volume 1. Enjoy.
I'm Hayes, host creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And listen, I love what Known Sage does. Y'all make sure y'all go and check out his hip hop podcast as well, which is HipPodHedz. You guys make sure you guys check him out on that.
The bells she's warming up now. It's crazy. I'm letting it go. I know that.
That's love.
They play in the Crip line now. So they play y'all out in the Crip line now at Old St. Mary's. It's hilarious. One of the basketball coaches from another school, brother walked up to me. Who's that dude rapping on the track? I'm like, I looked at him like, man, go to Spotify, check him out. I gave him a link basically. So you guys are getting put on just by being a gym coacher right now, being a hooper coacher.
Nice. That's love.
That's what's up.
That's love. Yeah.
Man. Jay, I like that hat, man.
Yeah, man. I apologize for being y'all. I was on a different Zoom link.
Oh, no worries.
Like, man, had to do it for Chi-Town, you know, had to give you some of that dose of Chicago, you know.
Yeah.
And
good. Definitely.
But yeah,
good.
me and have been like spreading the word on Ferg Truth, you know, spit in the booth, nothing but
That's
the bars.
What mic are you speaking through? Your mic is like crispy, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's like an Audio Technica mic, and
okay.
It was kind of like from my pre-podcast days. I don't know if I said that right. So basically, me and Novak were on different podcasts before, and we kind of stole each other and kind of like, hey man, let's do our own thing. So that was kind of like from my former podcast life with my work colleague. But she actually
mics are hard to find. Yeah, this is like number 3 right now. I'm running this guy. I'll show you what I got over here. So this is mine. So this one ain't bad, but I got a filter in front of it just to take the noise off. This is it's one of those blue. It's a blue mic. So the blue mic isn't bad. I just moved away from the filter, but I want to get a boom mic at some point in time. Let it hang over the desk. It's a lot better.
Yeah, that'll be dope. Yeah, Novak. Like I know you got the nice equipment there. It'd be nice if you had sort of like swivel to kind of swivel it up close to you.
And just audio check for me. I'm running straight through the laptop. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, really.
You're coming through.
No, you sound
coming
good.
Through clean.
You sound good.
Yep.
You sound better than Carl when you got on, man. Carl sounded like he was talking to us from space for a minute. I gotta get that dude back on.
So you invoke Carl's name. So Truth, I'm not sure if you ever met Carl Renato. It's somebody that me, Jay, and Kevon went to school with. But he was on 2 episodes, and he had his top 5 MCs or his favorite top 5 MCs. But the reason why I bring him up is that I appreciate y'all chopping it up with us. This is actually sort of episode 49, but it's technically episode 50 because he was on 2 episodes. We didn't count that second one for some reason when we were counting up the episode counts. But I digress. It's just been a blessing, you know, like celebrate 50 years of hip hop with both of you. Celebrate Bounce 2 with both of you. I mean, man, I appreciate y'all just giving us a second helping because the first Bounce was super dope.
Love, man. Love.
What's up, man? I'm so glad y'all vibe with it. I think both albums dropped, and you two are ones who I got text messages from, and me and Truthful, we'll text each other like, yo, my phone is blowing up, man. We getting love.
Yes,
so y'all have been consistent. And what I appreciate about you both is that I know y'all gonna listen to the beats. I know y'all gonna dig into the lyrics. You know, y'all truly appreciate, you know, the music and the context that we are spitting it from too, knowing who we are, where we come from too. So always appreciate that love.
Yeah, man. And I definitely want Truth to kind of spit something because y'all got bars and beats, but y'all got some singing chops too. Like, what's up? Is Bounce 3 gonna have like some full on singing? Y'all like double down on your Jodeci vibes over there?
Hey, if we honest, man, that's how we kick that. If you go all the way back, we used to sing like crazy.
Yo, I know Ferg could blow, but I was like, Truth? Wait a minute. Back and Bounce 2 was like, oh, hold up. There's no features here.
Y'all seen the 5 Heartbeats when Eddie Kane slid across the stage and like ripped the joint. That was Truth at our 8th grade graduation, man. He had parents standing up crying. Saying it's so hard to say goodbye, and he killed that. You know that run at the end of the song when one year rip it out. He snapped, killed that run. Parents were standing up like on the movie. Yeah, boy. So nah, we've been musical for all of this time, man. We used to sing when we was kids, and you know that the singing that was always there, and then you know as the love for hip hop evolved, we and on our own separate paths, obviously started to get more involved in that too. So, but I remember, man, when we were young, we used to talk about hip hop albums when they dropped. I remember, Truth, I don't know if you remember this, but man, we used to have love for that Midnight Marauders album when it dropped. We used to play Gangstar. When it dropped, was it
Cypress Hill?
Cypress Hill. Yeah, we used to be vibing on all of that stuff, and like, I'm even thinking about like Diggable Planets, like just joints that we would hear, and we're like, yo, this is cold. Right. This is nice, So yeah, we've been musical for years, man. So maybe Bounce 3 will have some more singing on it. I don't know.
Yeah, it gotta be like it's organic. We just take an organic approach. Even like the what's the song I'm singing on? Give You My Heart.
Yeah.
It was I just love the beat. Ferg had it on his beat tape. I was in love with the beat, so I just started singing, freestyling like to it over, and then it became a song where I just singing that loop over and over again. It wasn't like real well thought out. It was organic, so we just go like that. I'm not necessarily an R&B crooner. That's just not my emotion most of the time. But I like to sing though. I like melodies.
Yeah, I love that song because when Truth talks about it being organic, it really formed just like he described. It's like he loved the beat, and what he was singing was just like his expression over the beat. And then what I ended up writing was based upon what he was singing. So it was like the reason why both of the albums are called Bounces. That's exactly what it is. Us bouncing ideas off of each other. One person will make an initial contribution, and then the other person will take that, do something with it, send it back. And the other person is like, okay, if you're going there, I'm going here. And that's literally how both of the albums got done. It's just that exact same process, and it may be certain times where I'll send a beat and it doesn't really strike a nerve. So we just let that one sit there. Like, okay, that's not really moving us right now. So then vice versa, something else comes across. But when it moves one person, the other person just meets that energy, and then that's what you hear on both projects.
Yep.
No, it's almost like y'all hooping on these projects like that. We Made It song, man. That's like the West Side anthem, man. I was listening to We Made It. I was like, man, that song made me sit down and think about the whole journey from being a boy to a man in Chicago. I mean, it's a hard journey. Yeah, that's what Bounce does for me. It's just, man, you guys touch on so many areas. Like even on the track Dope. That track Dope, man, is real slick. It's like the wordplay on that track, man. You listen to it, it's like when you drive around the city, you put Bounce on. It's like almost like the soundtrack to every neighborhood, every situation you've been in, every stupid conversation you have with somebody, every good conversation you have with somebody. That's what Bounce is. Bounce is just you guys chilling. But the melody and the way you guys vibe out, man, that's like legendary, to be real with you.
Yeah, We Made It was the first song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the first joint we actually did for the project, right?
It's the first one. So yeah. I was walking. I'll never forget this. I was walking downtown New Orleans one day, and this dude was riding a bicycle, and he had a little stereo in the basket in his bicycle, and he was playing the song that we ended up sampling to make that beat. And when I heard the song, man, it hit me so hard. I probably kept that joint on loop for like 2 weeks straight. I just was appreciating the music. Like, this is such a dope song. and kept looping it and looping it. And then I'm like, let me mess around with it and see what happens. So I chopped it up and I did something with it. And I'm like, yo, this would be dope to spit over. And I just sent it to Truth. It was like a Saturday or something like that. I just sent it to him like, okay, let me see what he say. Man, I think an hour later, the verse that y'all hear on the album, he sent back that verse. And he was like, man, me and my family were getting ready to go out and run some errands. He was like, I told him, like, he said, I had to lay that down right away. The verse is so crazy. I call him right away, just like, man, you are nuts. Absolutely nuts. He went crazy on that joint. So I'm like, okay, well, here we go. You know, and that's just kind of how it kicked off. So I wrote my verse and I'm like, all right, we back into that mode, and we just kept the momentum going. And like he said, it's always super organic. We don't sit down and say like, oh, we want to finish this by this. And like, we just let it flow. And when we feel like, okay, we in that flow, then that's just what it is. So that was the first one though. That's what inspired the album.
So when you say first one, you mean the first one on the second project, right?
Yeah, on Bounce 2.
Yeah.
Because you brought back AD, the other feature on a different track on that project as well.
Yep.
Yeah, he got bars too, man. He got style like that.
Yeah,
he's nice. Yeah, he's real nice, man.
Real nice, man. Truth,
you got a new prop. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I said he got a new project called Dope. I don't know if it's on the major platforms, because I think he was trying to sell it and not let Spotify and other folks rob him. So he put it on what's that forum?
Is it
Bandcamp? Yeah. Bandcamp. Yep, it's on Bandcamp. So yeah, but it's super dope, man. I did the records. I mixed all of the records on there too. It was super crazy. But yeah, AD, my boy, me and him we go back a long time ago, back to Eastern Illinois. We went to school together. I met him. We met each other our freshman year, and we was just, we had both had a mutual friend named Kyle. Shout out to Kyle, man, wherever you are. And he was
from
like,
basketball,
man,
right?
dude.
Kyle from basketball out there?
No, not Kyle. Not Kyle. I know that Kyle too. That's my man. But not him. It was another cat, man. It was this actually. This cat that I met in a dorm when I went to college, I didn't even know what I wanted to study. I was just going to college to get out the neighborhoods. I was like, I got to get away from, the West Side and do something with myself. And this cat was like a genius cat, came in and actually helped me form like my path to the future. He's like, you should be an engineer. You smart, you technical. These are the classes you should take and all of that. But anyway, he knew I rapped, and I guess he had met AD and AD rap. So we linked up in the cafeterias, and that's when we started freestyling, and we've been friends ever since then. My actual first real recording was in Decatur, Illinois, where AD was working on his first album, and we went in this dude's crib. The dude had a studio set up similar to mine, but with much bigger boards, because they didn't have the compact situation like they got today. And that was my first time recording music, was with AD, and we still remain friends to this day. So I try to keep him included on most of the projects that I work on. And then specifically with this Bounce record, it just fits into the same lane and the same path that he's on. So
yeah, he's incredible, man. An incredible dude. He's charting new territory as a professor of hip hop in the Global Southeast University of Virginia. And not just a scholar, but man, he can rhyme, man. That dude, wordplay, the way his mind works. You listen to his verses, man, it's gonna make you put your thinking cap on and stretch you in so many ways. So man, shout out to AD, man, for always blessing our joints.
Yes, he blessed it twice on this one. Blessed it twice on Bounce too. Yeah,
we actually had a few Professor HipPodHedz on our show before. Like, there's this one cat that was in the Minnesota scene, and he was sort of like this underground hip hop group, and then he turned into a professor as well. And then the last episode, we had somebody who was a sports guy, and he's a teacher. He just got his doctorate, like Dr. Party as well. We had him too. Another shout out, BU affiliates. But the reason why I'm bringing all this professorial talk is because from your first project, Teach the Young, that joint has probably got the most plays off of both projects, and I just appreciate that. It's just about like trying to preach, teach, and just trying to keep it golden for the culture, for education, and just for everybody's betterment overall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's one of the things we feel like is a gap in rap is teaching the young.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We get like the famous rappers, they have the ears of the children and they're not guiding them. So it's we feel that that's necessary for us to speak to the young, man, consistently. So
yeah, and going back to
duels,
the conversation we were having earlier too, like I remember those voices around the West Side that were, whisper words of wisdom to us when we were coming up. Cats who were older than us but not so far removed, like we respected them, we looked up to them, and they would give us little tips here and there, like whether it was hooping, it was a whole crew of cats who were just like 3 or 4 years older than us, and we literally could see our next step because we were looking at them. Like we were in elementary school, they were in high school, like that's gonna be us in a few years. So having that mentorship is something that we said that now that we are older, we're fathers, we're husbands, we're doing what we're doing, we have a responsibility to drop some stuff that's like kicking knowledge in a way that's not preachy, but that's
that's right,
that's setting a certain tone of like, yo, this is what it means to understand what it's like coming from certain environments, but how to navigate it in a way where you can be proud of where you come from, but not confined by where you come from. You could still move different in this world. The other thing too, we talked about how, in popular culture, a lot of the dopest MCs, like they put on display this life that is so hard to attain. We just want to be regular dude. We just regular. It's like I'm the dude that you'll see with his wife and kids at Costco, And yeah, I got bars, and that being okay, like attainable success, not necessarily that, this definition of success where you got to have a crib in Cabo or in, the Pacific Palisades. If it ain't that, you ain't made it. Or if you don't have a Tesla truck and all this jewelry, then you're not successful. Like, no, we successful. You knew our story, you would understand, like, no, these dudes are successful, which is we made it, like if we gave thanks right now, knowing where we come from, we here. Ain't nowhere to reach for beyond where we are right now in terms of being grateful.
Yes, for sure. And that's the key word, attainable, man. What they put out there is just not attainable. And I'm assuming that for most young folks, that gotta be frustrating because they're like, man, if I'm not Rick Ross, if I can't be Rick Ross, who can I be? And I love Rick Ross. This is not a diss to Rick Ross. Or if I can't be, an NBA player, Allen Iverson, I can't be Kevin Durant. Who am I going to be? And it's a lot of options for these youngins, and that's what we try to display, some of the funness and some of the dopeness of being a survivor and being successful and just in another light. So
yeah, because we've exceeded all expectations in life. It's crazy when you think about. I was in a wedding a few years ago. One of my guys got, he did a toast and he got up there and started crying. He goes, "We wasn't supposed to be here." And you think about every time you ain't got stopped where you were going somewhere, or somebody did something around you, one of your friends got shot. I know the first time I saw a body on the West Side, it changed my whole perspective on life. I was like, I gotta get away from this. I feel like you were on that truth. It's like I gotta get out this neighborhood.
Man.
This neighborhood tried to take me out. And it's the little stuff. It's like you ever feel something bad about to happen before it's about to happen when you're outside. So I totally agree with you on that. Like we could have grown up. The people in the neighborhood always drop gems on you. It could have been somebody doing wrong, but he'll say something so profound you got to think about it and be like, Bishop Don Juan just told me go to school, and I'm looking like, but he had a green Cadillac telling me you need to go to school. And I'm like, wow. And so, you take that word and be like, yeah, I'm going to school anyway. But he realized I need to go to school in that situation. So that's what the West Side was like. The West Side was like, it was teaching lessons every day. And when I see you, I see Jay, even your brother Marcel, I know Sel. I see him and I be like, man, to see where we came from and be there. When I work with him, I was like, man, you went to Cranes, like I went to Crane, so and so. So everybody connects together. It's like 6 degrees of separation out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to see everybody doing their thing, you see he just had a book signing. You see that, you're like, man, this is awesome. And it's amazing because we didn't have like these direct role models back then. You know what I mean? Jay be your dad. It'd be somebody like that. Like I was in college, I see your dad come spend time on campus. I thought every dude's dad should come on campus and hang out with us like that. And and it's that experience that something you really take for granted when you're a kid. You go like your dad, man. Just seeing him come on, hang out with us, talk to us, hoop with us. Sometimes, man, that was a great thing. Something I'm really appreciative in life to this day. And I tell my kid all the time, be glad that I'm here to hang out with you. Even though I don't like some of your friends, I'm still hang out with y'all and try to teach y'all what you should be doing. And that's the beauty of like growing up and getting older, man. It's just realizing that we need to do better, teach better, and show better. You're right. It ain't the jewels, it ain't the car. It's like I got a 9 to 5 and I still make it work. And every morning I get up and go somewhere. Or if I don't go somewhere, I'm working on something. They need to see that. That's the big issue with the kids even here left in Chicago today is that they all into Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, and stuff like that. You don't make money like that, shorty. If you get a $800 pair of shoes, but you need books for school or you're trying to go to college, you need to figure out your priorities. And I think that's why I appreciate y'all so much because y'all music, man, speaks life into situations that people don't understand how to get from A to B. So many people stuck on zero right now trying to get there, but they need us and you guys to show them how you can do this your way. You ain't got to do it the Rick Ross way. It's what your lane is. Everybody has a lane to stay in at this point. And that's the whole thing you try to teach kids that, you don't need the best shoes. You just need hard grit and game, man. You need to work on your skill set. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's you word is more. You saying that perfectly. Yeah. And we saying that's the messaging that we have with arrogance. You know what I'm saying? Not arrogance, but with a little braggadocio to it. Like you can be confident, you can be the man and not have all of that excess stuff, which in most cases drive most of those folks crazy anyway. So you saying that exactly right. I didn't know we was connected through my bro too, man. So we gotta stay connected, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, so I'm
gonna tell you about.
Oh yeah. We both Laker fans. Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I don't know how that happened. Hey. I know. Truth used to watch Magic back in the day, though. He always loved the Lakers. He not a new Lakers fan. He been low key like vibing with the Lakers for years.
Yeah, I'm a Kobe dude, man. I grew up watching Magic, but Mike was that dude for us. Even though Mike wouldn't sign none of my stuff, but I respect this game, man. Sel, he deep into his LeBron bag right now. I give him hell on Facebook every time they lose. I send a message to be like, "Guess who lost tonight?" And he be like, "You know what, man." He loyal to the cause, man. He put that Bron jersey. I was like, come on, man, take that jersey off. I'm gonna buy you a jersey. I want you to wear something better. Put a Kobe on. Take that Bron off, man. Don't do it.
The game the other night, he went to the last game when Lakers played the Bulls, and he was like, man, I say, bro, they all already know on Facebook they hating. And he was like, man, I was going to wear my LeBron jersey, man. I ain't going to even wear it. I'm like, nah, you don't want to be in Chicago Stadium with the Bron jersey on, man.
Lay low on that. Lay low. Man. Yeah. But no, truth, I was going to tell you that these two cats, man, they came a year behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both a year behind me. When I got to Benedictine, going into my sophomore year, they were the incoming freshman class.
Okay.
And, brothers from the start, you know what I mean? Brothers from the start. We connected around love for music and then hooping, man. We would be, when we were not in class or in the cafeteria or huddled up in one of our rooms listening to music, we were in that gym. We were running them court. And so we got so many years of brotherhood, across different lanes. Like you think about all of the hooping that happened, and you think about back in them days when an album would drop, somebody would have to go and grab the physical CD. So there was times where somebody walking in your room with the piece of gold, like, yo, I got the joint.
Yeah, yeah.
Around in the huddle, and we listen. And then I remember when Kevon, when he got, I want to say, somebody pulled up at a gas station, was like, yo, I got these speakers. You want to buy some? Remember them towers you had?
Yeah, I remember I bought them at the gas station on 59.
Yeah, he got some speakers for the low, and them joints used to wang. He had them joints in the dorm room. So every album you could imagine, we would be listening to them. And I mean, it's like you in the dopest of studios. You hear everything. So nice. we just would build off of that. And so it's really an honor to be on this Zoom with my brothers from different walks of life, man. And then you all know that me and Truth legitimately met like day one of kindergarten. So we've been rocking since we were little dudes, man. And the way our elementary school was, I think from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade, we was probably the same class.
Yeah,
the whole rip.
Yeah, definitely.
Rip. Like, I don't think we were ever like in separate classes. So like, that's my brother, man. And when I wasn't at my house, if I would like, can I go over Marcus' house? And I'll go over there and just be in the fold, hop in the huddle. And his family treated me like family. I was just like another one of the kids. That's how it always felt. If I could just make my way to Jackson and Costner, I'm good. I'm good.
Nah, you got a lot of similarities though, because I had family on that side over there. My mom knew your mom, and I remember everybody talk about, man, how great your mom was. I didn't meet your mom, but man, all I heard was like, man, they mom is like awesome. And so like, it's the same thing. Like, as a kid, that's that stuff you need, to hear, man. Because on the west side, there were some parents that, man, made you want to cross the street, man. Be like, let me go across the street. Like, I remember, you walking down Jackson, the wrong family touch you or say something to you, you be like, I gotta get little. I gotta get out of here real quick.
Never mind the kids. Novak's like, avoid the parents at all costs, man.
No, it's real.
It's real.
You see some of them parents, and it makes sense why the kids are the way that they are. You like, I understand. You ain't these kids ain't making this up. They're being groomed for this. It's some grown-ups who are literally like on that same energy. So yeah, you absolutely right. But no, I couldn't say more about Nancy Jane Fitzgerald, man. You talk about love personified, man. That lady was different, cut different on so many levels. Like I said, never once did I feel like I was not like one of her blood sons. Like, she'll be like, come on in, so dope, man. Salute to her.
Like you said, man, these parents, these kids, I didn't understand a lot of the kids when we were in class. Some of the dudes, they'll be cool one day, and then you could tell like something happened at the crib, you know what I mean? And they'll come to school with that. I'm like, what happened to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just came from church on Sunday, but I got a whole different emotion about the week and vibe about the week. But God knows what they were going through. And I would learn later on that, those different home fronts mean so much. That's why it's so important in my house that, I'm feeding my kids with positivity and love so that they expressing that out in the world. So
it's real, man. Yeah, it's very real.
Yeah, me and my wife call it peddling positivity. That's what we do. That's what you have to do every day. Because you're right about them fronts. Because you get somebody had a bad day, Jay, from the PSM days. I know all the PSM characters, and you get somebody having a bad day. You get into an incident or altercation with them, and then all this kicked off because he didn't eat breakfast that day, or his mom disrespected him. So you get on the bus or train with them, and all of a sudden you got a whole situation going on. And it took me a long time to understand. That's just like a couple of other guys, Quad, everybody, man. Yeah. These guys, man, everybody's life was no crystal stair if you think about it. So, as grown-ups, I always tell those guys, remember what it felt like you were 13 years old or you were 15. What you thought you didn't get. make sure your kids get it in that situation.
Yeah.
You can break that cycle, man. So a lot of thing with us is I learned how to be a dad from watching your dad, Jay. That's why I learned fatherhood from. My granddad also was inspiration for that. But as you grow up, you realize, okay, that's the way I see father. It wasn't Bill Cosby, anybody like that from the Cosby Show. It was watching real men like like your dad, man. You say, hey, look how he talked to Jay. The way he used to talk to you sometimes, he's not there, like he'll break it down for you and give it to you and be like, you figure it out. And I'd be like, the first time he did that, I was like, woo. I was like, man, okay. I felt like I had did something wrong. I went back to my room. I walked back down the hall. But he got that force about him. As a grown man, you don't sit there, you don't listen, and you gonna tell the truth. That's how that works when you're dealing with Mr. Ferguson, man. But
yes, sir. Shout out to Mr. Ferguson, man. He's great. He's a great dude, man. Great dude.
Man,
great
salute
dude.
to Pop, man. Salute to Pop. And you know what, man? The beautiful thing about him is he's still on that. Like, even in this phase of life, we talk every day, and I called him the other day. I called him day before yesterday, and I could tell it was like taking a while for him to actually answer. Like, it stopped ringing, but it was taking like a few seconds. So when he finally came on the phone, it was him and my oldest son on the phone already. He was just basically patching me in to their conversation. So I'm like, here it is, 2023, in the same way that he made time to hang out with me and kick game to me and just commune with me. My son, who's now 28, he's doing that with him. Like, they got their own relationship. And I'm just like, yo, man, let it be said that I'm on that for my children, that I make time for them, that when they just want to talk and hang out, that I'm there. It don't have to be nothing special, even if it's just like, hey, what you doing? And so, man, shout out to him, because I would say, and I mean, you all have all had your own experience with Pop, but man, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's another 100 dudes who would say the exact same thing. Like, man, your dad, man, the way your dad would pull up on us and do this and do that. It's grown men right now who are doing their thing, whose fathers were not in their lives, but just having even a short window of time with my father and the way that he would carry himself, it gave them something. And I'm telling you, man, and research shows that, like, the role of a positive male figure on a young child, even if it's not your biological father, it could have exponential positive impact. And I know for a fact, like, I know some dudes who was going a different route, but the fact that my pops would be on some, like, I'll use this as an example, and this is not to, like, I am tooting his horn, because I still sometimes wonder, like, why would he do that? Like, it's Saturday morning. He was going to play ball with his friends. He was going to play ball with his friends. And these are a lot of former Chicago police officers, like those types of cats. They kind of had like a little cohort. But they would be going to Columbus to hoop in the men's gym, but the women's gym would be open for the kids. Before he went, I'll be like, yo, can you pick up Marcus and myself? Can you pick up July? Can you pick up? And we would make stops on the way to Columbus, grabbing cats. And we pull up to the court, we pull up to the park, and it's like 5 or 6 shorties hopping out the car. And he go and hoop with his guys. Me and my guys go in the girls' gym. A great day. After we hoop, sometimes it's like, oh, we're gonna stop by Wendy's or whatever, and then drop everybody off. Like, he don't have to do this.
No.
He would do it. He would do it. Like, never heard him complain. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So it set a standard. Like, it also set a standard for us to look out for each other. Like, we in this together. Like, I'm not about to enjoy this and that without calling my boys in the room too. Like, y'all come on over here. We finna do this. We finna do that. And we still on that. We still doing it. So it set the tone.
Definitely. You did that for us in college from day one. You took us, you took us to fashion shows, you took us wherever you went in that situation. So we appreciated that big time. It was at U of V, if somebody always took us somewhere, took us to the mall, and it's just seeing that positive reinforcement sometimes. Like, it was time. I remember one time my experience with your pops was I was in the parking lot talking to this older lady one day, and he pulled up to come see you. and he blew his horn. And I looked over at him. He looked at me like, come here. I walk over because I'm outside. It's like under 20 degrees. True. I got on a hoodie, some basketball shorts. I'm about to go hoop, but I had stopped to hoop somewhere else. And he saw me. He was just like, how old is that woman? And I was like, she's like 37. Here he goes, go in the gym and play basketball with Jay and them. Go in the gym and play. So I turned off the service bro and started walking toward the right center. And I saw him back there. He got out, he came to hoop with us today. He got out of his bag and everything like that. He made sure I went to the gym because like I was gonna get that older chick back in the day. And I was standing out there. And so he got in the gym. He said, I didn't save you child support.
There it is. There you're from a multiverse of madness, my dude.
Seriously, it's little stuff like that, man. And y'all know I probably got a million stories on stuff he didn't, the legends he didn't talk me off of. Man, seriously.
No, like Novak was true, man. Like your dad was on campus a bunch, like on our college campus, and it was dope to have him, to see him. And I remember far, I was like, wait, is that Jay Ferg? Because y'all both got that iconic smile, man. I'm like, no, that's pops.
Yeah.
That's pops.
They twins. Twins.
But that's respect though, man. Because like, to bring it back to bounce a little bit, because like I initially thought the bounce was literally just either the thump of hip hop or basketball. But it's nice that you were saying it's the balance of between you and Truth, because like I respect that in this day and age. Like it's all about trying to, collab from afar and trying to create something out of nothing, and you're just making it work. Like the one, there's probably countless ones, but there's this rock group called Postal Service. They're literally like send material to each other back and forth until the project would be done. So just the idea of like getting something done like that, which you just bouncing off of each other, that's just amazing. That's like this like warms my hip hop, basically,
Yeah, I think it had multiple meanings too. We super hooper cats. We send each other hooper videos. I mean, that's what we started at with the basketball culture. So bouncing ideas and the bouncing hip hop, man. Like the way the tracks, man. We both Dilla fans, and you know what I'm saying. That's the kind of vibe that that we eject on this record. So when I look at bounce, it's bouncing the ideas, but it's also making sure they head nodders. You know what I'm saying, and it's a lot of basketball. Insinuations in the music and references. Yeah. So it's all inclusive with that.
Did y'all see the video for State Street? Did y'all see Ronnie Fields on that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Like the excitement that we had to be able to like shoot that video, the way that we shot it, the fact that it was us collaborating, like the fact that we were able to like hit some of our stomping grounds, get some of those backdrops. And then, when I hit up Ronnie, he was like, yeah, pull up on me, man. I love the support. And the way we were even able just to get that little cameo, man, I'm like, this is our story. And that's what we take a lot of pride in, like documenting the fact that we were here. Like when this all said and done, these projects kind of serve as record, no pun intended. They serve as record that we were here. We're capturing our perspective, being a Chicagoan who, man, since 2013, I haven't lived at the crib. So I've been moving around to different places. And it's interesting to hear what people say and or think about Chicago. But these albums serve as our side of the story. A lot of people give shine to what's happening on the South Side and that whole South Side culture. But I'm like, man, that's not the whole city. Like you gotta understand, like the West Side got its own vibe, its own culture. And I honestly don't think that there's anybody who represents our perspective like we do, that unique combination of like coming from hooping, coming from like, it's a certain combination of elements that you just can't so easily replicate. Not everybody has that same experience. So I'm grateful that we get to capture these things and that we haven't let distance slow us down. For Bounce, I was living in LA, Truth was in Chicagoland, and for Bounce 2, I was in New Orleans, Truth was in Chicagoland. So it's definitely the whole technology, like leveraging what we got, both having our own little home studio situations, all of that, like it all comes into play.
That
Like even when
video,
Novak was
man.
tapping into like you just walking on the streets on that track you're talking about just a bit ago, just tap into the vibe. But what were you saying, Novak, about the video, the State Street one?
Yeah, that video, man. You start popping people in there we know from around the way, and that video had me smiling because, yeah, man, the West Side, you get the side, you get Common's perspective when he talking about the nine and everything like that, but they don't understand Madison. They don't understand what goes on off of Costner. They don't get the whole vibe. Even when they show the West Side, they showing like Skin Bone right now. The guy that does creative stuff on the internet, right? Him and Dada Man, and that's just West Side and this comedic element. But you always don't get the musicality of like what Do or Die did, what Conflict did, or Snipers did back in the day. They didn't do videos. They just dropped CDs and with black cases back in the day. Or you go to George's Music Room right around the corner from the crib, and you stood in line to see like R. Kelly or somebody, or see somebody come sign autographs for like 5 minutes. And what you guys did, you opened up the whole city with that video to show, okay, it ain't all about Michigan Avenue. It ain't all about 79th. It ain't 63rd. This is what goes on my part of the city. The city's so big that we forget about, where we come from in the city sometimes. That's what keeps us humble and grounded. Whenever I'm having struggling at work, I ride around the West Side, man. I literally get in my car, I go up around Madison, I hit Pulaski, I'm over there by Shoeshine King where it was. And I'll be like, man, I didn't come this far. How can I not finish the mission at this point right now? That's the way I look at it.
Bruh. And it's honestly, bruh, if that's one of my personal drivers to keep recording. Like in the same vein, like if we can keep giving music that supports you and doing what you just said, something to ride to, something to be strengthened by, I'll keep these joints cranking. If people can listen to this music and be like, yo, I'm not ashamed of where I'm from. I'm actually proud of where I'm from. We cut different from over here. Like, it's people right now who, we went to school with, who are, every single day waking up, doing their best, taking care of their children. Like, I want our music to be a nod to them. Like, yep, we made it. The fact that we still here, we made it. We salute you. Which is dope about social media, man. We get to see fellow comrades, male, female, whatever, that we grew up with, and they still ticking. And it's like, just to be able to like somebody's photo, just be like, man, I see you, and showing them love. I get a lot of joy from that, more than I would if we was out here trying to bling out and talk about this other frivolous stuff just to be quote unquote popping with what the wave of the industry is. Like, to me, this is more in tune with who we are as people for real.
Yeah. And I know it's other type of kids, it's youngins out here who probably not attracted to, what's the ultra popular and the bling and the chains. They got different messages and different stories that they want to tell. So I want to be a light for them and, a elder spokesman for them on how to rhyme and, how to be technical with your raps and how to be cool and not have bling. I want to be able to rap a song without mentioning, something I got. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, we brought up Gangstar. And I remember Guru, man, he was so ill at making records that wasn't about like your normal topics about what he had. You know what I'm saying? The girls look so good to me. They like those kind of stories, man. They invisible in rap. So we try to make topics on things that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about this when we did our promo, but we did the song called Foreverness, where we really talking about marriage. Which is really a unpopular thing to talk about in music. It's all about slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Move on. I don't got no love for no dudes. I ain't got no love for no girls. And we like scratch that narrative. What about all the folks who've been together for a minute, who wake up and stay together and have those great date nights? Man, there's something beautiful about that. So that's what we try to keep. That's what we try to bring through with Bounce Project so far.
You showing what life really is about, opposed to what somebody wants you to think about is about. It ain't Cardi and Offset, and that's what kids grow up seeing. Like, when you're shorty, you grow up thinking like, okay, dude got a lot of chicks, or child support is cool, and you be like, you find out as an adult that ain't cool because you got to
Right.
pay for it, you got to live that life, and then you got to explain that situation to everybody. And and everybody judgmental in this world, even though the way I always learned it is that you do the best you can with what you have and figure it out, and then you earn respect that way. Because a lot of times you're gonna make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's just it's the craziness of life in that situation. But you gotta be thinking about, like, if you guys did a video and capture what everybody's doing and just spit on top of that, man, that's like monumental if you think about it. If you just capture regular people living, and you guys did that in State Street, you do like a montage to that, man. That'd be an awesome concept because you guys do a damn good job of creating that imagery from the words, man. Like Truth, like me and No Sage are talking now. Your delivery is very J-like. It's almost like you're 2 bars ahead of where you rapping at. Because I was listening, I listened to Bounce, so I'm like, this dude already thinking about what he want to say next. You've already moved on from that verse you dropped. He's on the 15th bar at the 12 already. So the way you deliver is that you doing some like future present X-Men type stuff. I listened to your flow and I'm like, he's already somewhere else. He dropped us off here and he's gonna take us to the next destination. That's the way you deliver.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way your delivery works.
That's love, man. I appreciate it, man. Straight up. That's love.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I write records, most of the time I tell Jay that it's like I get in a little energy frenzy, and it happens really, really fast. It's not a long drawn out. It's like, oh, and I'm like, yo, then how I'm gonna spit this? You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why it jumps around like that. But that's love. I appreciate it, man.
My brother's so ill, man. Like to this day, I still go back and listen to verses and be like,
That's love, man.
how is he doing this? Yeah. It's so dope to be able to say that one of your favorite collaborators you're also inspired by. Like I feel like working with Truth pulls out the best in me, even as an artist. Like when I feel like, okay, this is the extent that I can get this verse, I'm like, no, you go back, comb through this joint, make sure that you were giving it your all. Like it's I think it's really dope for us to be able to collaborate. And this, again, going back to hooping, I could be having somewhat of an off day, but my boy getting down. So it's like, you got to come with it too. Like, let's go. Like, it's that same kind of energy. Even though we're not in the same physical space, I get that same kind of joke, from how he's hooping. I'm ready to hoop too. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's older cats and cats who ain't necessarily showing our bling and cars. Whenever you play our project, I want to be able to play my project in any room, and they say that's undeniable. That's dope right there. Like, I don't want to sound like like our bars ain't on point, like the beats ain't on point, like the mixes ain't on point. I that's my ultimate goal when we do these projects, for the joints to be on point, or it's not even worth us doing it. You know what I'm saying? So.
And another shout out to Truth. Truth engineered both projects, so not only is he producing, rhyming, he also does all of the mixes, master the joints. So the final product, we want them to sound like they stand neck and neck with anything that's out. It ain't like, oh man, the quality is lacking. I hear what y'all saying, but it don't sound like what's out there these days. Like, no, these joints sound pristine. They not, stuff is level. Like if the energy of how the albums feel are intentional. Stuff that we want it to be a little bit dirty, like we leave it a little bit dirty. Stuff to be crispy, make it crispy. Like, and even with that, like we will bounce those ideas back and forth too. Like, yo, what about this mix? What about that mix? Until the joint feel like we want it to feel. So, shout out to True for engineering both of the projects as well.
I mean, truth. The thing is, like everything is deliberate. It's even like talking to Sel about the Ram the Great out. About his work, Waiting for My Turn. And you look for Waiting for My Turn. I hear you on the back of that track, And like then you go listen to Bounce 2 and you're just like, man, Bounce 2 goes straight into Waited My Turn and the rest of those tracks. Everything fits together like a puzzle almost. It's like Wu-Tang like almost. And you look at the 36 chambers, you start looking at it like, okay, I know that production. Because the first time I heard this album and I heard Bounce 2 and I was like, wow, that's like a whole nother flavor of the style, right? That's all like a whole nother fighting style you got pretty much. You changed the style up over there and you can hear like your influence on Sale in that situation. You're like, wow, this is interesting. So I know y'all brothers, but that synergy is crazy, man. And then you both, you guys all did a track together, and I was sitting there like, wow. I mean, it's nice to see. I think that collaborative space, man. I think you definitely a Bounce 3 album. You think in terms of like what that would look like, and what you guys learned from Bounce 1 and 2, the evolution. Bounce 3's got to probably just be crazy. And I know the way you probably think, you probably already got half Bounce 3 done right now, waiting for Jay to fill his verse.
Yeah, man, we talk about it. We like to do it organically and, do it when it feel right. Because we live in life, man. I like when I'm telling the stories, man, I like for it to be something that don't feel stretched. So, we take it in pace, but we got tracks already that we already done passed along to each other. So we just going off the feel of it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait if y'all serving up another serving because it's nice. It's dope. Who drew the cover art in the first project? I'm not sure how that came about for the cover art.
Oh, for the first one.
Yeah.
So we first talk about like what we want to go for and just kind of like throw some ideas out there. And I actually went to an artist who worked on it, and the artist worked up a sketch, like 2 or 3 different sketches, and ended up creating a final product. And we looked at the final product and we were like, yo, this is pretty dope. But it was one of the sketches that we were like, but that draft, the draft of this sketch is actually has the energy that we were going for. And so although we paid for this final product, which was in itself, it was dope, we were like, man, the album cover is one of them sketches. So it actually was kind of if you ask the artist, it was just a throwaway sketch to kind of see which direction we wanted to head in, so to speak. But yeah, I think it was Truth who looked at it and was like, man, I think this is the cover right here. I was like, I'm with it.
Bouncing ideas, man.
Yeah, and I would say that also speaks to what Truth was saying about our process being organic. We're not afraid to like go with the quote unquote less polished version if it actually is the energy that we feel. It don't have to be that pristine final product. The energy that we are going for is actually that sketch.
I love that story because, like, just the hip hop head in me wants to love, like, finding a hidden crate or some lost tapes. And to kind of circle back to when you were on a show before, you were kind of speaking a little bit about, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, if you embody the hip hop mythos, you don't necessarily have to dress it, walk it, or even spit bars. You can just emulate it, right? So now that 3 Stacks has dropped his flute album, it kind of made me think about that gem you're dropping on us. It's like, you just have to be, you can just be organic, just be organic you, just be rap you, and just like let it flow. And it's kind of fascinating how folks are almost polarized by what he did. But it's like, isn't anything that somebody like a Stacks does just hip hop? Like, it doesn't have to be grime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, man. We need 3 Stacks to make an album, though, man. I wish I could meet 3 Stacks. I'm a
right. No,
shit.
yeah, and again, no, 100%. And the rap part of me respects that and knows that's what I'm gonna hear too. But it's kind of like to Ferg's point, like sometimes it's not the finished product. Sometimes it's the loose threads along the way, and it's like the journey. So it's like, but yeah, no respect though.
I heard Yassine Bey say, because somebody asked him about like the evolution of hip hop, and he spoke about the evolution of hip hop being the music that we can create that doesn't require words for us to still recognize it as hip hop. And so while I respect that, it did break my heart a little bit to hear, you know, Three Stacks mention that he wasn't really inspired at the time. You know, I'm like, you ain't been hanging with us. If he was in the left, he'll be rapping his tail off, man. You know, yeah, we still we older cats, because that's what he was saying. He was like, "What do I talk about now?" I'm like, "It's plenty about. What you mean? What do you talk about?"
Yeah,
Plenty to talk about. What about your flute? You could rhyme about what you want. You could rhyme about whatever. And so that's the one thing that you know, again, I'm grateful that me and Truth are not on that, like, oh, we older guys now, we got families now, like we don't need to be poets still. Like, no, man, keep that pen hot. We could be 60 still speaking. It's just a way of poetically sharing the thoughts that are on your heart. And
man,
so
come on, man. Martin Scorsese, man, he wasn't young when he did some of his dopest movies. Like, he still write dope movies. It matures. It's art, so it can still be high quality. It may have to be appreciated by somebody who can understand it and interpret it. But even like what Nas is doing with his project, The King's Disease, man, listening to those, man, that's what I want to hear. I actually needed those albums. Like, some of the stuff he's saying, I'm like, oh, I need that jewel. And it fortifies some of the thought processes that I have. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I ain't the only one think that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Three Stacks, man. I'm praying for him, man. Put the flute down.
Send him Three Stacks, come holler at us, man. We got that'll light that torch for you again.
If you hear that NPR interview, very fascinating. It's about like almost 2 hours, and he's talking to I believe it's a Atlanta journalist or somebody that knows his repertoire. And there was a line in there where like Three Stacks says something like, "I wish I could be rapping with these cats. I wish I could play in the sandbox and this, that, and the other." So him being a Gemini, I know he always thinks from different sides, from different angles, but Three Stacks that is. But thing that's crazy to me is it's just like, yeah, we want the bars. Yeah, we want to feel like, you can rap nowadays, but like, I guess what I'm trying to get at, there's this other person we had on the show, right? And we reviewed the episode. We reviewed the album drop of the Flute album. And I hate to call it the Flute album, it's the New Blues song, right? But she had a line in there of shout out to Sage God. She had a line when she was talking to me, Novak. She basically said a lot of these rappers kind of like came at this art at desperation. And it kind of goes back to that earlier conversation we were talking about, right? It's kind of like you sort of approach it, and whether you want to write about the grime of the streets, sometimes you're almost forced to, because that's all you see. You know what I'm saying?
Word up. Yeah.
That's what they
definitely. Yeah, that's what they signed you up to do. I remember when we were doing music years ago, when we were the most popular, One Shadow, and we were selling records in the street. We were doing records that came from the heart. We had joints that came from the heart, but we were definitely influenced by, like, what are we pitching? And that kind of, shapes what you're doing. You listening to, you got 50 Cent, you got, 50 Cent talking about shooting, you got Jay-Z talking about, how much cash you got. And that definitely, as artists at the time who were really trying to get on, who were really trying to show, pitch records to Def Jam and So Def and all of that, it had a great influence. And now when I do music, even though I got less fans than I probably had then, it's like what I feel so good about what I'm saying on the tracks, opposed to, doing it like you mentioned, out of desperation, saying what I think is going to be hot. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different feeling. It's more fulfilling, I think, right now.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you mentioned the Nas drops, because like there is a way to lean into the old Black excellence like trope, because like I want more Nas drops.
Man,
like, what is it, like 6 or whatever projects?
Yeah,
and then the whole idea of it is like, are we gonna get Nostradamus Nas? Like, no. We got Hit Boy, are we just gonna keep pumping out them hits? I'm like, damn, this is what a mature Nas sounds like. And like growing up in 90s, early 2000s hip hop, it was always like you had to pick a side. At one point, I was definitely on the Jigga side, but now I'm like, no, like the aged hip hop parent in me is definitely all Nas all the way.
Man, Nas incredible, man.
Incredible, but it took it took Ye to wake Nas up, and then Nas and Ye collaborated, and he didn't like the collaboration. And Head Boy was standing in the corner like what you guys, what Truth and Jay was saying. You in the wrong creative space. Come over here. You know, he didn't use you the right. He didn't use you the right way because the Nas has always been, as you know, Jay. He needs production in order to shine. He's a poet to the fullest, but when you put that production behind it, it's ridiculous. Like you guys, the Truth, you did a track for Nas. You think about it, it blows because he gets on it because it's something that people want that they didn't know they needed at that point. And that's what the King's disease was like. You know, it came out. I agree with you. I was riding along. And I'm in the car, like you're always in your car or you in your room listening to music by yourself, and you go into that man's world, and you sitting there, you see everything he's talking about, or you hit home as us being older now, he talking about stuff that makes sense to us, stuff that you're 20, it don't make no sense to say pay your bills, make sure everybody in your family taken care of. That's what Nas is speaking about.
Right.
But you talking to Dirk, you talking about Dirk space or Polo G space. They want to talk about going to Nordstrom's. They want to talk about credit card scamming and stuff like that. So it's a whole different culture. We just trying to get them to look at it from a culture. You ain't always be 20. And that's the way when we were 20, we always thought we were going to be 20. You turn 30, you always think you're going to be 30. You turn 40, you go, oh man, I got to start taking care of myself. So
right.
Yeah.
It's evolution and stuff.
It's another element too that I want to call out. So we understand that there's this big machine, and the machine is not selling no positivity. They ain't not interested in that. They want the most ratchet, dirty, grimy, murderous, slanderous. That's what they want. And so if you're trying to make it in the industry and you're a young cat, forget about trying to be conscious. Even if you are a young, wise dude, put that to the side. You trying to make this money? Talk about how you killing people. Talk about who giving you top in the back seat of the Lambo, like all of that. Like that's the wave, and it's the business. Just leave. Like if we took the art out of it, if we took morality out of it, the business is calling for a Cardi B. They're looking for these images, and because that's what's selling. That's what they sell. You take Nas, who had a run doing his signed career, right? He was with Columbia, and now he got Mass Appeal Records, and he like, I got my money, I got my own record label, so I'm gonna make the art that I want to make. I make my money over there now. I don't have to do what y'all want me to do. You know what I'm saying? So to me, what Nas is doing this 6-album run between the Magic series and the King's Disease series, it's like this is the music that you get from a Nas when money ain't a factor.
I got a question too in that same lane. Like my thought process is this: I'm in total alignment. Like the record companies, that's their whole goal, to pitch out the worst. I mean, like music that's really destructive to our community. My challenge to that, I mean, and I'm asking this is a question. Do you think they sell that music because it's in this world that's the only thing that works, or do you think that it's intentional to like continue to destroy the Black community?
Yeah. K-Town born and raised. Chi-Town. Hey yo, Ronnie Fields had a triple-double. Trying to get somebody's sister cuddle. Skipping school, got the clique in trouble. Talked about saving the whole hood like we Nipsey Hussle. From the hood, you can see the skyline. Took my girl to see the high-rise. We had some Popeyes. Hooper love, those was our guys. They had archives. Do the trav up and folks down, those was high fives. Gunshots and gang wars, those was our lives. Mom's prayer, dad intellect, that opened our eyes. When we left the school, they was tearing down the jacks. Bulldozers was at where they was airing out the steps. Downtown had steakhouses. My man hustled all week to make thousands. Did late hours. We was dreaming for trust funds and lake houses. He was dreaming to throw ones and break cowards. 4300 from State Street. Some of them wanted to stay street. We was dreaming to be great. Finish our fast breaks or putting lyrics on break beats. 4300 from State Street. Some of them wanted to stay street. We was dreaming to be great, finish our fast breaks, so putting lyrics on break beats.
Summer 95, we was 17 deep. Blue line to the taste, but not really going to eat. Was really going to see who was the beauty of the week. Maybe get a number watching fireworks from the street. Back when the ops rocked the uniform, some were ball players, some were cops, some were flipping like somersaults. Do you know how much that summer cost? Went back to school, a couple homies lost. We huddled up and formed a clique that was the recipe. Making moves that could lift the whole squad about the treachery. The game of life I swore would never get the best of me. Stay in school, navigate the streets without the referee. Called our own calls and called plays for the squad. When times got hard, we called on the name of God. From 18th and Cal on the course in Douglas Park, where they call me kid, cause I was ballin' out with no regard. Like 2800 from State Street. Some of them wanted to stay street. We was dreaming to be great, finish off fast breaks, so putting lyrics on break beats. 2800 from State Street. Some of them wanted to stay street. We was dreaming to be great, finish off fast breaks, so putting lyrics on break beats. Joke beats, joke beats.
Thank you for listening to the HipPodHedz podcast, a podcast hosted by No Vac and No Sage as they discuss their hip-hop inspired moments. This concludes episode 49. Check out the continuation of this conversation on volume 2, episode 50. Share, like, subs, rate, review, and comment to the show on YouTube and Spotify. Go out and listen to something dope today.